To our top story now, the defection of the Syrian Prime Minister, Theodore Kattouf. He is a former U.S. ambassador to Syria. He joins me now from Washington, D.C. And in just a couple of minutes, Louay Safi is going to join us. He is from the opposition group, the Syrian National Council. But Mr. Ambassador, good to talk to you. First of all, what are your thoughts on the significance of this defection?
Well, it's a psychological blow to the regime. And this conflict involves a lot of psychology because over the last 17 months, a lot of people have been sitting on the fence trying to decide which side they should go with. And the momentum increasingly appears to be with the opposition. And you're finding more and more high-level government officials, not people who are the core of the regime, not the security officials or the alawites and senior officer positions, but you are seeing many Sunnis and others who hold government positions leaving this regime.
All right, let me ask you one more on this Sunni-Shia divide, and then I'm going to bring Louay Safi in on this conversation. The idea of a Sunni prime minister was to give this notion of an inclusive government, in keeping with the Ba'ath Party philosophy of an inclusive government. With hijab gone, is the message the Sunnis are no longer welcome and that Assad is closing ranks?
It's not so much that Sunnis are no longer welcome. In fact, Assad needs a Sunni veneer in such posts as prime minister and foreign minister and the like. It's that he's finding it harder and harder to find any credible Sunni figures who will serve in these positions.
What do you mean by credible?
People who have actual stature within the country, who are accomplished, who are known for their expertise and their intelligence and the like. So these are more, I think he's down more and more to party hacks.
Okay, Mr. Ambassador, stay there for just a second. Louay Safi is with me here. Good to see you on the set here in Doha. First of all, your reaction to this news that the Prime Minister has defected.
Well, clearly this is a serious blow to the regime. The Prime Minister is the second political leader in Syria after the President, and he has defected, along with a number of ministers and generals in the military. So the regime is being eroded gradually. I would really have a different take on this question of Sunni Shia. From the opposition, really, we don't see it that way. We realize that the regime is using that sectarian card, but we are intent on having Syria for all. So we are not really, sort of responding with the same kind of attitude and mindset.
Do you believe that the Assad government is trying to divide along religious lines?
Absolutely. I mean, this is an old tactic of dictators, divide and rule. And so they want really to set the Syrian people against each other so they can ultimately hope to stay in power, which, we are certain this will not happen.
Same question for you in a second, but Mr. Ambassador, let me ask you, is Assad calling the shots in Syria? More pointedly, if he wanted the troops to return to their bases, at this point in this conflict, would the soldiers, in your view, follow that order?
Well, that's a good question. I doubt it. I think Bashar al-Assad is in control right now because he is the only fellow with the stature among that group, that inner circle, to be president, if you will. But at the same time, members of his sect in the military and in the security and intelligence services believe that they may be fighting for their very existence and those of their families. And I respect what your other guest said, and I like what he said, but it would be naive to think there won't be revenge killings if the opposition gets the upper hand.
That's interesting. Louay Safi, what do you think about this question of whether Assad is really calling the shots right now in Syria?
He does. He does. I mean, he could end the whole thing if he...
You really believe that?
Yes, I do believe. I do believe, because there is no other face in Syria to hold the whole thing together. It's all in his hands. And anyone who thinks that he is not, calling the shots, then probably is not familiar with the internal working of this regime. Yes, I mean, the president is a very powerful person in Syria. He has all the powers in his hands.
All right. Well, one more question for both of you. Ambassador Kattouf, the Annan peace plan obliterated. The Sunni leaders are defecting. There is no diplomatic solution to this crisis that is apparent at the moment. Where are we in this process? Is this the beginning of the end for this regime, the middle of the beginning of the end? Where are we?
It is probably the beginning of the end of the regime, but there is we have to be careful not to conflate the fall of Bashar Assad with the end of all fighting. It's a very complex situation, and it's very possible that if his followers have the means to fight on, even if he should go into exile or be killed, they will do so in regions in which they are strong and have a solid base among the citizenry. So we could very well see ourselves in the kind of situation that characterized Lebanon in the latter half of the 70s and well into the 80s.
All right. And Louay, that same question to you as well. Where are we?
Yeah, well, I think we are probably way into the downfall of the regime. Okay. We have already passed the beginning. And I think what I would like to emphasize, Syria is not Lebanon. I know many people, when they think about the country, would like to have another example as a metaphor. Syria is not Lebanon. There would not be a civil war between sects. And if this regime falls, then I think the whole thing will wrap, and Syria will enter in a new phase that would be more democratic and more inclusive. Definitely the first period will be tough, rough, but ultimately that's where we are heading, and the opposition is united that this is the goal that we are working for.
Thank you both. Louay Safi is the chair of the policy office of the Syrian National Council. Good to see you. And Theodore Kattouf is a former U.S. ambassador to Syria and the UAE. Thank you both. Thanks for your time.